Call to order the Tuesday, October 18th meeting of the Historic Commission. Roll call, Scott King. Here. Randall Hansen. Here. Mary Menterline. Jeff Stephenson. Here. Jim Wolf. Here. Andy Udell.
Here.
And Alan Luckett. Here. Present and accounted for except Miriam. So we have a quorum for this evening. Any written comments for us, Brian?
We did not receive any.
But we do have
opening up the door.
It's cracked.
We should have
Should we
it
have it
open.
open? All right.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Being a public body and all, perception.
Understand. All right. We do have somebody from the public. I don't know, were you here to speak on Mark's behalf or just be present?
Just be present
Just
and
to
listen.
and listen. What's your name?
Alicia.
Alicia.
Euchre. U-E-C-K-E-R.
Okay. And Mark asked you to be here.
Yes, he's
All right.
out of state. So.
Okay.
All right. See no other comments then. We'll move on to the minutes from our September 6th regular meeting. Any concerns, changes, out of place information?
I didn't notice anything.
I did not either. Seeing none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Make that motion.
Andy first. Any second?
Second.
Second by Scott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Our minutes are for the record now. Next, discussion of sub-grants. Brian.
Okay, so this is just the recurring agenda item that I intended to keep on, until we make the grant submittal later this year. Not much to inform you about, not much progress in that regard, unfortunately, but I did talk to Tara Barnett in our office today, and she's going to help me put together those, or compile the information that we've gotten to send off to the state, again, for that preliminary indication as far as if they believe that the school buildings will be eligible for listing in the National Register. For the folks at the state, it's about a 2-week turnaround once you submit that, and when I spoke with Tara, we expected that we would be able to get those out this week, so I'm hoping maybe late October or perhaps that first week in November we would hear back from the folks at the state. We've got all the information. It's just a matter of putting it together in the application forms that the state prescribes that you're supposed to use. We had one of our staff go out and take a bunch of photos, interior and exterior photos, at each of the schools, and so we'll be packaging that all up. The state requires that you put that onto a CD and mail it into them, so we have to do that, for example, but hoping to get that piece completed yet this week.
Okay. We're a step closer at least, that's good. Any concerns, questions about that at all for Brian? All right, seeing none, we can move on to number 6, historic district markers.
Yeah, so I don't know if everyone had a chance or not to go out to the Columbus Circle neighborhood and see the replacement street signage that was installed by the operations division. That was done, a few weeks ago now. They replaced, I think it was a total of 14 street signs, per the commission's direction. So wanted to have this on the agenda for any discussion you wanted to have, any feedback. I did hear from Mark Bobzine by phone, so I don't know if he had shared any thoughts with you to pass along to the group that you'd care to, but
we love them, and we don't know when they appeared. Like, we were all like, oh my goodness, they're here.
One magical night they were just there.
Like elves did it. So we love them, we're thrilled. So he wanted me to come and listen about this specifically.
So when we talked, it was 12. So is there funds available for the 14 then? Where are we in a poll right now?
The difference between those two numbers, I think, was that there were a total of 14.
Oh,
but
that's right, but 2 needed to be done no matter what.
Yeah, 2 of the signs were going to be completed by the city at the
that's
city's
right.
cost. So
That's right. Perfect.
I think they look good.
No, I think they look very good too. You do see them when you drive past it. It's something different than what was there. So I know it's not the original what Mark really was hoping for, but it's still something finally for out there and hopefully for the
I almost thought that, my personal opinion, maybe because my eyes suck at close range now, but it just seemed like the print was too small across the top. It just looked too busy. And it's like, unless you're like right on it, I mean, you can easily drive by and not really see it.
Mhm.
I just thought, oh, it's, because, you know, you got courthouse, a circle, I mean, you got a lot of words, and the font's not that tall. And I thought, oh, what if you like capitalized it, or just, I don't know, it just seemed like it should be a little bit larger font, you know, because I'm thinking, there's a lot more older people than I am, you know, but I just thought, you know, it just seems like you don't get that, you definitely don't have a wow factor, I know that, but just because of the cost in it. But I thought, oh, I mentioned it to Brian, I was like, oh, hey, are they gonna like bring a sample in before we send it? He goes, oh no, they're putting them up today. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, I guess we'll just go with it, you know.
The drawings did make it appear like the top lettering was gonna be a little bigger than it came out, but I mean, I noticed it was different. You could tell once you're getting to them that it is what it says. But yeah, I mean, there is gonna be some people that aren't gonna be able to notice it because it is a little less of a.
Yeah, you really got to, I mean, as far
really
as,
gotta look.
especially like when you're driving by, it's kind of like my same opinion, like when I see marketing on people's business trucks and they got this little sign on their door, and unless you're like parked, you're not gonna see what the heck it says when you're driving by. You know, you're like, who is that? You know, what, you know, but you know, it's all that marketing thing, I guess. But that's the only thing I was thinking, like, oh, that's such a small font. Unless you're coming to a stop sign, you're not gonna be able to drive by and read what that says. I don't. For the most of us who don't have that type of eyesight, like I did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to slow down to notice it,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, and I know I shared it on Facebook from what the city posted, and Frank Schultz even commented that he thought it was kind of small for viewing purposes. But I mean, when you think about Columbus Circle, you're not having fast traffic going through there, so it definitely draws attention when you slow down. I mean, I get easily, I'd be okay with that style of sign, let's say on a lot of the streets that don't have stop signs within Courthouse Hill, for example, or, you know, the slower areas of Courthouse Hill. Maybe something can be done differently on the main roads, but, you know, is that gonna be a topper? Or is that going to be, you know, or can the city get taller street signs and make it work a little bit better?
Yeah. I will.
Yeah.
Or they put in caps, would that be enough? You know, all capital letters, you know? Or would that still stretch it out too much? I don't know.
That would stretch it out too much. I think would make it
If
smaller.
you did all capitalized, maybe.
Well, especially with the ones that are like one on top of the other, because it comes down over that
A little bit.
a little bit down. It's kind of like, you know, when people put those covers around their license plates, and it's like,
Oh,
you know, it covers up that bottom part.
Yeah, because you got the little
Yeah,
flange that holds it in.
yeah. The ones. This is the technical term. This kind.
Yeah. I said flange as I was using my hands, you know.
But overall, the neighborhood seems happy that we've got something up and
Yeah,
the
That's the main
representation
thing.
is there that it needs to be and shown for that area at least.
yes.
Okay.
Was there something different that we were supposed to get?
No, I mean, when this has been on the docket for decades, basically. But
Yeah.
when Mark was on this board or commission, they had initially had this nice huge circle sign. It
Okay.
was like a 3D thing, and with costs now, there was just no way of ever affording those
Okay.
for the actual, for any of the districts within the
Okay.
city. So we've been brainstorming this last year and a half basically to really get this moving, and we thought this was the best avenue to make sure something finally got up
Okay.
for the districts. And then now we're going to start working on the other districts. You know, we started with Columbus because of the funds that were raised, and because Mark actually came to us and was wondering what was going on as well too, and little things like that. And it's not a small district, but it was a good enough size that when we see the signs up, we can see how it's portrayed in the community, which is perfect for what we were wanting. So
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
now
I
let's
think
hopefully
that-
get the other ones.
Courthouse Hill, there's a lot more signs that are on like streetlights and things, right?
Yes.
So they're gonna be, you know, mounted from the side, so that'll give a different kind of perspective on it also.
It might. So, but I agree, what we were shown
paper-wise, the lettering looked a little bit bigger, but, I mean, still, like, I was able to read it when I drove past.
Yeah, my only
At
concern.
35 miles an hour, or whatever.
Yeah, my only concern with the round sign was, is there's another street sign, it's called
I mean, it was a beautiful sign he had put together, but it just, the costs were just astronomical.
Yeah.
Astronomical now.
It sounds like it'd be more reasonable if we wanted to do some informational signs that were, vertical.
Yep.
In rectangular shape would be something of concern, consideration.
Yep.
And then we could just say this is the blah 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 district
Okay.
to help kind of establish that some more.
And maybe with the other historical districts, because like Fourth Ward is a smaller ward, so they might be able to do a bit larger font. But yeah, I mean, courthouse, if you're Columbus Circle is
It's a good size.
good size, a lot of going on for,
Yeah, I didn't take a picture of it. What did it exactly say? Did it say historic?
Columbus Circle Historic District.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got a lot of
Maybe we don't need district
information on there.
They should just
Columbus
abbreviate
Circle
it, just put like
CC.
CC, yeah.
Short and sweet.
FW. Yeah, no, I'm happy to see something up there finally, very much so, but maybe we don't need historic district, or maybe just
Or, yeah, you go.
Courthouse Hill District instead of.
Or just put historical district. You
Does it
don't
need
put,
to be?
you don't put Columbus, or you just put historic district, right?
Well,
That'd
if-
be easier.
No, I'd rather give it its name it deserves.
I like leaving this the whole thing. Granted, yeah, it's
Yeah.
small, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's where, maybe some rectangular signs put every, couple blocks might be able to draw more attention to it. And then people that are walking will be looking up and go, ah!
Because they have a standard height, isn't that part of it too, with the street
The
signs?
state-
They have
yeah,
to
that's the
stay
state
within
regs.
that dimension probably.
Correct. And the lettering has to be so high as well.
For the main
Main
street. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So you
So that
kinda
does
limit
play it a little bit. Yeah. So, but we gotta start at least, and then we can move on to the other districts. And see what we can do.
And Mark and I did discuss when we spoke by phone, along the lines of what you were saying, even when Mark was on the commission, one of the pieces to the project was going to be a centralized kiosk, is what the group was referring to it as, kind of a central sign in maybe one of the parks in each district that would have along the lines of maybe like the state historical markers that you see around, the brown ones with the white text. Maybe providing some additional information about the history of the neighborhood, when it was developed, the styles that you see in the district, things along those lines. And so I said to Mark that I thought that would potentially still be a possibility in the future, if the commission wanted to do that.
I haven't looked lately, but what's on that one plaque that's located over by the old fairgrounds in the Courthouse Hill? That's on the corner there.
First State Fair.
Is that what it says? Just
Yeah,
First
it's the
State
State Fair.
Wisconsin's First State Fair.
Yeah, it's got, yeah.
All right. So I didn't know if there was some other information there, because there's, be a place where you put it in a park.
Mm-hmm.
It's centrally located. That way it's on city property and nobody gets upset about anything. For Columbus Circle, it'd be in the little triangle.
The triangle.
Right,
Or
yeah.
the two triangles.
Yes, we have two.
There's two triangles, remember, in
Oh,
there.
yeah, pick one. You
Flip-
say so
flip a coin?
With plenty of parking here.
Flip a coin.
Probably the one off Milwaukee, what do you think?
I think whatever you guys think is the most traffic through that neighborhood.
Oh gosh, yeah, probably the one off Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, the other one has the giant pine trees that you might
Oh, that's true.
visually
Yeah.
get lost in
Yeah,
the
we don't want to
giant-
mess with roots if we can help it.
giant pine trees.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So like for the rest of them, like the other ones, for the fonts, how's that gonna play out?
It'll be this. I mean, it'd probably be the same fonts.
Well, no, I mean like funds.
Oh, the fonts.
Yeah,
will be
because
different.
obviously they had some money in reserve. That's probably a good thing we got the signs, because there'd probably be no money left in it. From everything.
Yeah.
This would be.
For the investments.
I think this one, like Alan had a nice idea, like he'd be willing to purchase one for 100, whatever the costs are, that $100 or whatever it was. I don't remember what it even cost us.
Yeah, I mean, what would be nice is if people.
have somebody sponsor one in their corner street or
Yeah,
something.
and maybe that entitles them to get the street sign,
Mm-hmm.
the old one,
Yeah.
as a gift, so it's like,
Mhm.
Oh,
covering the cost.
donate for the historical marker
Yeah,
sign.
so-
And then
so-
you can get the, you
so
can
I
get the
can
one that's
get
up
the
there at the
original-
moment. Yeah.
yeah, so if I paid for
St.
one, I could
Lawrence sign
either,
or
I could
whatever,
choose
yeah.
Milwaukee Street, because that's my address in my house,
Yeah.
or my neighbor.
Or the
lives on
closest one,
620
or
wants to
the
get
closest
one.
one to your house. Yeah. Or the street sign closest to your house or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah, like Milwaukee, they'd probably do, let's do it at 1,000. As you go inward, we'll come down at $50 or.
I think that, there'll be some districts it'll be tough to do that with, but I don't
Oh,
think
right,
courthouse,
yeah.
courthouse wouldn't have an issue doing something like that, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be several neighbors if they want to chip in. I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be one.
whoever, wants to pay for it to get the sign back,
Mhm.
Well, like you say, courthouse, they'd probably they'd be on board with that. So they would probably be, since they'd be on board, they might be the next ones that would get it, the signs
Done,
put in.
correct.
And like I say, because Fourth Ward's like the biggest,
Yes.
but that's mostly, I don't know. I'm assuming it's more landlords
Yeah.
homes down there, but
They do have a pretty active
It's,
neighborhood
it's an
group,
active
too.
neighborhood group, yeah.
yeah.
But it's monetarily certain aspects of Fourth Ward isn't the, you know. the
Which is a
village.
shame because there's some really cool houses if
There's
we were
some
to
really
bring
cool
them back to
Mhm.
its originality.
But I wouldn't mind going Alan's route that he talked about a couple meetings ago, as a thought process at least, and see where we can go from there. But, anybody else have any thoughts on that? Any other concerns with the street signs? It's gonna forever be still on the agenda no matter where we're at, but
And we got, what, 13 districts?
13 districts.
One per year?
One,
Or every 3 years, we get one done?
How many years are you gonna stay on the board there?
No, I'm not staying on the board that long.
So it's done, you're gonna stay on?
No, I might die before it gets on, before it even comes off of the agenda. All right, anything else for the historic district, Mark? All right, seeing none. Next, historic commission announcements. Please remember these are limited to member activities, memorials, non-political community events, and we cannot discuss any governmental business with these announcements. Anybody have any announcements?
I was gonna say, I did hear on the news that the Rock County Historic Society, they're doing those tours over at the cemetery. I
They're
don't
doing
know.
them during the day.
Is it during the day?
yeah, it is during the day right now.
Yeah, they don't want to get in trouble again.
It was supposed to be just stories about the people who,
Correct.
were,
They pick certain people and.
that were, they said they could almost name a street after them on some of them, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, the concern was about people being in the cemetery after the sun is set. Because like, there are
Technically.
rules that you can't be in the cemetery.
Oh.
Yeah,
Unless you're-
dusk to dawn.
What is it? Unless you're a police officer or,
Or a high schooler sitting in the back corner drinking beer.
or, yeah. or I think it was, I think it was city
Times.
council. I think it was city council members are allowed to be in there, and police officers. That's like about it.
No, yeah, it's dusk to dawn.
But that's a different city though, right?
No, that was,
Oh.
yeah, no, that was Oak Hill.
I'm trying to help you out.
I'm cool with it.
We are recording this. So we're going to broadcast this later.
That was 20-some years ago too, so I think I'm
The
good.
statutes of limitations.
I'm pretty sure statutes are long past.
Long past.
We'll just put a bunch of bleep marks in this video. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, when your backyard, kind of friends' backyards are a cemetery, it's tough not to jump into them. But, all right.
I will not be at the the November 1st meeting.
Okay.
So if we do have one, you won't see me.
And then I was going to ask if anyone was able to participate in the State Historical Society's conference last week, either in person or virtually.
No.
Yeah, conflicts.
Okay.
Busy with work. I was planning on it, but I got busy with work.
I had signed up for it actually and had it playing in my office while I was doing lots of other things. So I do still want to, they taped all the sessions, so I'd like to go back and watch some of
Okay, I
those.
might go
But
do that then.
yeah, that was the extent of my participation, though. I really, time got away from me.
Any other announcements? All right, seeing none, our next meeting, November 1st. We'll be back up in the chambers without Alan at this moment in time. And of course, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Jeff?
Second.
Whatever.
Al first, Jeff seconds. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 5:20 PM.